All right, welcome. So glad to have everyone here. Boris Z, Boris B, and Quentin is our resident. Well, I don't know if expert's the right word, but he's the one who's here who came to the last retreat. We had a few of us, and he'll be piping in and sharing some of his experiences. But Quentin, you want to introduce yourself at all, just real quick?
Sure. Hi, I'm Quentin. I got 20 years of aerospace experience. I've been working with Jeff for the past two-ish years or so. I was a client of his at first. I was contemplating giving up engineering totally. So I went to him. He helped set me straight, reoriented my trajectory, and I guess we've just been talking ever since. And I guess I can say I haven't been happier. I think I found my purpose and what I need to be looking for out of a job, as well as life. And I'm the type of person to continuously invest in myself. So that's kind of why I choose to go to these retreats. Um, and I'm based out of Huntsville, Rocket City, if you're familiar with that, Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah,
Um,
good,
so yeah.
sweet. So glad to have you. And real quick, the whole purpose of tonight is to have a little bit of a space to chat about the power of retreats in general. Why did I choose to do this? And hopefully give you an opportunity to say, hey, would a retreat experience be right for me? And come in and join us, and we'll talk about what happened with the last one, which is the first one that I've hosted. That's the first one I've been to, certainly, and we've got this next one coming up in April, and give the opportunity to see if that's going to be the right fit for you. Just a quick interaction check. Boris B. We'll just go that to make it easier. How do you pronounce your last name, Boris B? I just want to know.
Yeah, of course. It's Bugingo.
Bingo. Okay,
Uh-huh.
got it. Okay, so Boris B. Is in Washington. Boris Z. is in the Bay Area, correct? If I remember correctly. And so just so you guys can connect, if you want to give a quick intro on you, where you're coming from, and why you're interested in joining us and checking this out tonight. Let's
Yeah,
start with B first. Yeah, go ahead.
of course. First of all, thank you for having this discussion. So I am based out of Washington, and I studied at Washington State. I did computer science at Washington State, and
Hmm.
then I ended up interning with PayPal, doing software engineer work with them for like I guess like, when I was in college. And then
Hmm.
during that time, I didn't want to do software engineering anymore, so I ended up going to Deloitte doing
Hmm.
consulting. And then unfortunately, this past summer, we were affected by the layoff because we lost around like 135 contracts due to the whole Doge trying to like cut the budget. So
Yeah.
my team and I were laid off since summertime. So I was working directly with the government of Texas, helping them to migrate the on-premises solution to the cloud. And then currently right now, I'm currently looking for a new role. I've been focused a lot on security right now. So I joined this Cisco networking academy where I'm learning about security, how to better defend against threats. So that's kind of something I'm doing on the side. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Very cool. And we can talk more, maybe one-on-one, about kind of that career transition that you're in and some of the other stuff that I do. Boris Z, you want to do a quick intro?
Yeah, live in San Francisco Bay Area, California, and last 6 years was in a medical device company. We developed a new product, the revolutionary at some point, and not some point, I mean at some sense, because it uses machine learning tool to predict like patient conditions. And yeah, unexpectedly, after 6 years, we basically put in instrument on the market. We got FDA clearance, clinical trials, all this, went well. And suddenly, yeah, there was announcement that our engineering team was laid off because of finances. That government shutdown affected investors. So yeah, and now, yeah, since October, I'm on the market, job market, and I was completely unprepared for this. Was kind of surprise to me. First time actually in my whole career that happened, and so yeah, I'm kind of trying to understand how the hiring process changed, how, the game definitely changed because now we have these AI tools everywhere, right? And a lot of, people were affected the same layoffs from Amazon, from Google, I know, and especially in our area. And whenever I go to interview, I have interview. I mean, I nailed this. Last week I got two on-site interviews, like
Good.
5 hours each, and like they honestly tell me we have like six more candidates. We want to talk to everybody, and it just goes and goes and goes. And some say yeah, thank you for your time, but yeah, we found somebody who's better suited for this role. But I have like four or five like currently lingering interviews which I'm just waiting. And so yeah, I mean, and what I'm trying to get more information. I think we spoke with Jeff before, and he gave
Mhm.
me really a bunch of really good insights, and I bought his book, Intentional Engineer, and I read half of it. I stuck a little bit, switched to other gears, but I promise I'll finish. Yeah, those are really good insights, and I would highly recommend to everybody, to you, Boris, and other people probably who are interested to go this way, and it helps. It really works.
Yeah. Thanks, Boris. Appreciate that. And looking forward to seeing what's next for you. I know you got some opportunities and hoping that one of these will work out for you and be a great fit for where you can really deliver your skills in a cool way. And so uh, to kind of back up and share just a little bit about my story. So like, I mean, where I got into some of this world of like intentional career, personal development coaching in general was really some moments like all of you have had and expressed a little bit of like, hey, feeling lost, like not sure what's next, how to figure that out, and didn't feel like I had those resources and eventually found people and guides and stuff and that were helpful. But like that is one of the that is a time of life that just feels so lonely when you're in transition, right? It feels lonely, it feels scary, there's fear and uncertainty and everything else that's going on. And decided a few years ago, like, hey, I can help people in this space, in particular in the engineering field, where I come from. My technical background was in mechanical and I did software, and interacted with electrical and civil engineers too. So I had kind of a breadth of engineering interactions. And so I've now worked with hundreds of people personally and in groups and spoken to groups and stuff around these principles around intentional career and personal development. But also along the way, uh, I mean, hey, there's still other challenges faced. I've also got a young family. We've got 4 kids, and sometimes there are just those moments of life where it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and it's like, man, do I have to hold this all alone? And I found some groups and communities uh, that were really supportive and helpful for me, and particularly like some men's mental health groups and stuff that were really helpful, and was invited to come to a retreat. I think the first one I went to was in 2023, so a little over 2 years ago. Um, and I've since been to a few more with this group and helped to facilitate and staff retreats. The last one I did, and it like that first one I came home and I told my wife like that was legitimately like a top 5 life experience because of the people I met and the people that gathered and the conversations we had were like, hey, like we could get real with each other and talk about stuff that was good and stuff that was hard and we were trying to figure out and overcome and like it like there was that feeling of like there is no like we are not alone in any of this, right? Everyone can relate with stuff that other people are going through and trying to figure out. Um, One of the quotes that I learned from one of my mentors there, and the quotes from Carl Rogers says, that which is most personal is most universal. And that has continued to be true. Um, and so then I started thinking about the question like, hey, this kind of experience where a lot of the work I do is virtual, but what about the opportunity to gather people, be together in person for a more in-depth, personalized group experience like a retreat? What would that be like? And so I started thinking about that and decided, hey, maybe I can build an intentional engineer retreat. And so I threw it out there, and we had our first one this last fall. I'll share real quick just a couple photos of our first retreat. Let's see, there we go. So it was a small group, really small and intimate. This first one that we did last year, it was well, still this year, it was in September. We met in a suburb of Salt Lake City, up in the foothills in the mountains. We spent a lot of time in the mountains. A lot of the leaves were changing in the fall. So you can see Quentin there. We had Raul, who's next to Quentin. He's from the Northeast, New York, Delaware, and is a leader in civil and construction management, civil engineering construction management. Then over on the far right is Mark, who's the director of engineering at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. All wonderful, fantastic people. We shared some fantastic meals. We got up into the mountains and hiked up over 10,000 feet, and had a lot of workshops and discussions. We'll talk a little bit more about what those are later when we talk a little bit about what we do at these retreats. But let's see if we can share. This is up us up. This is us at the high point of our hike, looking down in some mountain lakes. And let's see if we've got another one with looking at the other lakes. Yeah, here's a couple more lakes that we got to look over and see. So some beautiful time and landscape. Did something hard together and opened up a number of different conversations and experiences together as well. So and the hope there is that, hey, we leave with insights, clarity, and a community of people who are there willing to connect and support you. That's really what this comes down to. So with that, I'd love to give some time to Quentin to talk a little bit more about his story. He'd worked with me before he came to the retreat, but like, hey, the retreat's a different experience. Why did he decide to come to that? What was most impactful? How did the actual retreat experience compare to what he anticipated it being and stuff like that? So Quentin, I'll give it to you, maybe ask you a few questions
Sure.
along the way, but give you some time.
So before I talk about myself, you saw those pictures, right? So envision yourself. I'm an outdoor junkie, so I love the outdoors. But we had a picnic right on the lake, gorgeous view, and then we also did an exercise together. Each person, did their own thing, but basically we did a group exercise at the top of a mountain, which was pretty, I guess, special. I've never really done that before. So anyways, on to myself. So peeling back the onion a little bit more, technically, I probably would say I didn't need to see Jeff, right? I've had a successful career. I've been management, I've been project engineer, I've been structural engineer, I've been mass properties, I've been systems. I'm pretty flexible and can fit a lot of molds. And a little bit more about that is so I, at the height of my career managing flight sciences for a missile interceptor program, just to brag for like 30 seconds, yeah, I have worked on some really cool stuff like the lunar lander, missiles, satellites, 787, aircraft, helicopters, rescue choppers, military choppers, modifications. Um, but in all that, the pinnacle of my career, managing a team of 30 on a missile interceptor, something was just not right. My health started going wrong. I was not happy. Um, so I'm asked, I start to ask the question, what's wrong with me, or what's going on here, right? So that caused me to start looking inward at myself, my health, number one. And then I stumbled upon Jeff and decided, hey, I'm going to invest in myself. I took a intentional sabbatical. I wanted to do some digging and find I said, maybe, what can Jeff offer, right? And so Jeff was able to, I'm going to say, show me a lot of different exercises for reflection, do some real life experiments on paper, graph some things, some experiences, right? Talk about them together. But also you have this network of people behind the scenes, the alumni group, right? That also help. So that's kind of one part of it is there's a support structure already there, right? Um, so I decided to go on this retreat just to continue to invest in myself. And selfishly, Mark at the Mayo Clinic is like director of engineering, and any minute that I can get and bug in his ear because secretly I have this little desire to, move out of aerospace into some more health related aspect in the future. Um, and I'm gonna honestly say Raul and Mark are kind of even stronger than me career wise, right? They didn't really, I felt, need to be there, but their presence there was freaking huge. They have so much to offer, so many insights. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say is the retreat was better than what I expected. Um, for the money, the lodging was fine, the scenery was excellent, the history tour of the town, the exercises, the reflection. I have my outcome of the retreat right here. It's my pillars of purpose. It's basically my new life alignment. And, back to earlier, I think the reason why I wasn't happy is because for two reasons. Mindset, number one, and number two was alignment. I think I just wasn't working a career that was in the right priority for my life alignment, for what I need. And that's what I'm doing now. Even though my title isn't as pretty and extravagant as it was before, I'm going to say I'm way more happier. The retreat was a good reflection on um, checking in and accountability partners, right? We still kind of text on the side after the retreat and do some little digs. And, some people are doing better than others and chasing their goals, right? Um, this piece of paper was kind of one of my big outcomes because I basically have an actionable list and I've started to cross off a few things for how I can impact community, how I can take care of myself to take care of others, kind of thing. Um, so I'm just rambling here. So Jeff, ask any questions if you'd like to cover a specific topic.
No, this is good. So, I'll share briefly. There were a few kind of core pillar moments that we had, and then a lot of discussions in between that we had, at meals and while we're traveling from place to place and things like that. Um, but kind of the first day is sort of like, how do we kind of kick off, set our own intentions, and start the connection piece? The next day is we got up and on an adventure up into the mountains and started thinking like, okay, like what am I really looking for? Also, that morning we started off the day with a little sunrise um, meditation. The clouds didn't really work in our favor. It was a little cloudy, but we still got up looking over a valley and thinking, okay, what do I want out of this day? Got up into the mountains, did some exercises up there, and a lot of just fun discussions as we were just getting curious about each other the whole time. That evening, we had a really well, actually, that afternoon, then we do a workshop, a mindset shift workshop. Is what we did there to say, hey, what's a big mindset shift that would make the biggest difference for you in your life, and how could we make that shift? That evening, after a nice dinner, did we did an in-depth what's called a breathwork meditation that opens up some cool stuff. Quentin's since continued to do that and explore that even more. But is one of those meditative exercises that I found that really opens me up to different insights than I get versus any other experience that I've done thus far, and been really, really helpful for me. And any time that I've facilitated it has often been well, it's always been a good experience for me and others. And then the next day, our final day, we finished with the masterminding workshop to say, okay, how can we collectively support each other to where all the things and the ideas and the thoughts, how do we mastermind to say, okay, what am I actually going to do with this? And we spent time on every single person individually to have some time, and everyone took away a bunch of ideas, and we sticky noted all over a wall, and then we could do something with that, which then turned into that, a lot of that turned into the sheet that Quentin held up, I imagine. And then because everyone time before flights, we got to spend some time just having some fun. We toured, this last one we did in Salt Lake, and so we toured around downtown Salt Lake, a lot of places that I was familiar with since I grew up in Utah, and had some fun before people went off on flights. So a lot of the structure will remain similar. There might be some shifts to workshops, different activities. We probably won't get as high in elevation because where we're going to be, but we will be in a beautiful area in the Pacific Northwest. We're going to stay at a lake, a house right on the lake with its own private dock. And so we'll probably jump in the cold water in April, and we can spend some time on water if the weather's good, and a lot of time outside to say, hey, and the whole, and to disconnect from the normal pieces of life to say, what's next to me, and what support do I need, and what can I do differently? So that's the opportunity. But Quinn, I'd love to ask you real quick. We did a lot of different exercises and activities and things. If you could point to one, maybe two that were most impactful for you, what would you say for you personally?
Most impactful was probably that mastermind session where everyone brings their own challenge or their own problem to the table, and you get many different responses for how to maybe tackle that.
Yeah.
And that was very profound to see the number of times you see a common theme, a common thread across multiple people that you start to realize, okay, that's definitely an option I need to pursue, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Cool.
the meditation was probably also um, probably next on the list, just because me being more into the mindfulness health space, that was my first experience ever doing a true meditation. Um, and I continue to do it now regularly. So that's something that I've taken away and I've investigated more. And can you imagine an engineer trying to like tangibly quantify some of these weird things, that benefits that are going on, blood work wise, mental space wise, your aura ring wise, right? It's just kind of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And I just love being outdoors. So like doing an exercise, on the top of a mountain at a lake, it doesn't matter what the exercise is. Like that for me was enhancing.
Yeah. Cool. And Keith, welcome. Keith and I have talked, and Keith would love to join us on the retreat in April as well. So glad to have you here with us, Keith. Quentin came to the last one, has been sharing a little bit about his experiences. Um, but yeah, I'll share just a couple of things. If you haven't looked yet at the retreat website for this upcoming one, um, I'll throw that in the chat and share just some of the photos of our venue that we're going to be at. We've got a private dock, and they've got included a bunch of water toys and stuff that we can enjoy. Might just have some free time to just go play and have some fun. Let's see where there are private and shared rooms available if you care one way or the other. I There's one private room taken and a couple of the shared rooms taken. I haven't updated these numbers yet. So and some games and stuff. Here's a view looking at the house and then the lake spot that we'll be at. So a beautiful space that I hope will set a container for some of the exercises and things that we'll be going through together. Just a few logistics. If you decide to join us, April 9th to 11th, so it's a Thursday to Saturday. Fly into Spokane, Washington, is the nearest airport. And as much as I possibly can, and once we have sort of the group figured out, as much as I possibly can, I want to take off any burden of having to get rental cars or anything. So if there's 10 of us, I think we can do a total of 11. Well, 10 of you plus one of me with the amount of beds in the house. And so if need be, I'll rent a big 15 passenger van. So we've got room for people and stuff. So we can all be together when we're going away from the house and pick people up from cars and stuff, or otherwise arrange carpooling or sharing and everything to get people to and from airports. And then certainly while we're on site and going anywhere, we can all travel together. I'm taking care of meals. What we did this last one was I got materials. We made breakfast together in the mornings. Doing the lunch on that second day, full day. Since we were out and about, we packed lunches as we went out on a hike, and then we went out to dinner at some nice restaurants that we chose for dinner together. So I'll take care of meals, and then anyone who has some time after we have to check out of the house and everything and wants to go tour the area, will be close to Coeur d'Alene and Idaho and Spokane, and happy to tour people around and see some things there. There's some beautiful areas for any time before people have to catch flights that day if they're still hanging around. The investment, real quick, is if you have a shared room, it's $2,500. If you want your own room, private room, $3,000, so just a little bit more. But I'll share that I'm run a little early bird special for those who sign up before the end of this year. So it expires at the end of 2025 for $500 off for kind of the early group. And so I'll share real quick how to do that. So if you're on the retreat page at the top, you can go here or down towards the bottom. You can choose, hey, do I want to do the shared room or the private room? And the coupon code is early retreat. So I'll throw that in the chat as well. And that'll take $500 off to make it a little bit easier for you. Because the sooner we have kind of that core group, the more we can really start. Because there's still pieces. We got, 3.5 months until this happens, that there's opportunities to start the connection now and bring people together and start creating that intention to make the retreat itself as powerful. And the other thing that I'm adding this time that we didn't do last time is a continued integration. For 6 weeks after the retreat experience, we're going to do a virtual integration to stay connected and do a weekly session together for 6 weeks to stay connected and integrate and continue on some of the themes and takeaways and the accountability for after the retreat experience, to really build in and sustain and grow and keep the momentum going instead of just, hey, you showed up to retreat, see you later, have a nice life, kind of a deal. Really want to keep digging and supporting each other after the retreat. So that's the idea. So let's see, throw the coupon code there into the chat. But I want to open it up now. I don't want to make this pretty simple and informal, but I just really encourage you that if this is something that you're feeling like, hey, I know I want to change something, or I want to go deeper, I want to establish some connections with other people who get me, who are maybe more on the technical side, but want to be leaders, want to grow themselves as well. This might be just what you're looking for. I encourage you to join us. And again, take the discount now. Or if you're feeling like you need the more personalized one-on-one support that I offer as well, going through some of those transitions, happy to talk with you about that. If you want to schedule a call with me, if you haven't already, we can certainly talk about that. Or both, right? I mean, Quentin did both, and a lot of people do both. Good chunk of the people that I anticipate coming are people who have worked with me already, but want to have a different sort of experience together. So that's the invitation, but I also want to invite, if you have questions, do you have, thoughts on, what would be your intention? What do you hope to get out of an experience like this? Or what do you feel like you really need in your career life right now? That, what are those big questions in your world that you're trying to answer that even just right now, right here, that this group could help you with? What's on your mind tonight?
I think all goes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got it, Boris.
I think for me as of now, just trying to understand like what's the current market looking for, right? I
Mm,
work in social engineering, and then kind of like what Boris also mentioned, it's kind of crazy me calling someone else Boris. I never called someone Boris before,
yeah,
but kind of like what Boris was mentioning, I've done some interviews before in the past. Like my resume is it's pretty attractive, right, based on like my track record.
sure.
But it's being I'm not sure what they're looking for, right? So I'm just trying to understand like what's the needs for the market. As I mentioned early on, transitioning to security right now, and I would love that one-on-one coaching. It's like the connection that I can also have. That's pretty much like the intention of the reason why I signed up for this.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, Boris, if you want to talk personally on some of that and go deeper, we can. I'd love to kind of dig in a little bit more in terms of where you're trying to get and some of the challenges you're having. Schedule a one-on-one chat. Certainly happy to do that just through the link in the chat there for you if you want to go through some of that. Or if anyone just has questions, you just want to chat and you're curious about, want to talk one-on-one about the retreat experience and what that could look like, and you feel like you want to have a personal conversation about that, happy to have that conversation as well. There's things you'd rather ask just me instead of the whole group. But Keith, love to have you introduce yourself. And I know we've been chatting a little bit about coming and joining us in April. Tell us a little bit more about you and what you're hoping to get out of experience like that.
Thanks for putting me on the spot, Jeff.
Yeah, you're welcome.
uh,
I'll tell you what, if you come to retreat, there'll be a lot of on the spot moments, and that's okay.
well, that's fine. Sometimes we need those. I am fairly new PE, probably 2.5 years, and finally took the nerve to take the test and do all that. Passed,
Good.
started it, been working with a buddy that's a DOT engineer by day and has his own little firm kind of by night and weekends. We've worked on a few projects together, and then I just kind of branched out and doing my own. I'm also a general contractor, been that for 20 something years.
Mm,
And the engineering was kind of like getting different calls for different things. And my wife just found your book on, I think, Amazon and said, it's an interesting title. Let's see what this is about. So she ordered it, and you said some things in there that I could relate to, and I just thought, this guy's sounds like, and I don't know that much about you, but if he's made an attempt at doing this kind of on his own, not in a organization, and it's tough because you can go in so many directions with it, and there's such a need for what we have in our
Mhm.
stamp, and
Yeah,
I'm just needing more direction and focus, and like I feel so kind of stretched thin, and I'm always learning, and which I love, but at times I'm like, man, I just want to like focus on a few things and do those really well. And so, um, anyhow, life is good, business is good.
good.
I couldn't ask for a better situation and great contacts and
Love it.
recommendations and networking and all that. And so I just, got the book and we kind of connected via email, a few here and there. And
Mhm.
yeah, excited about getting up there. Haven't bought my ticket yet, but I'm really close. I was on
Okay.
Delta today and looking at different options, different airports around me. But I'll leave with this. I'm in Brevard, North Carolina, so I'm about an hour south of Asheville. If any of you familiar with Western North Carolina, and we were
Mhm.
kind of the brunt of Helene, that big storm that came through.
Yeah, you guys got nailed too.
Who are we talking to now?
Yeah, this is Jeff. I was just
Oh
wondering if
yeah.
you guys nailed too. I know
Oh
Ash.
yeah. No, we were right in the heart of it. Asheville got it
Yeah.
probably the worst, and but I was at a job today, and it's repairing trusses and just you never seen so many trees down and rock slides and
Mhm.
landslides, and it just, yeah, it's still one lane roads and some smaller places, but anyhow, that
Yeah.
that's where I am. Look forward to meeting you guys, and it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah. Looking forward to getting to know you better, Keith, and having you with us. Um, Boris Z, tell us a little bit about what's on your mind, any questions you have, and uh,
Uh,
about what we'll talk
what,
about tonight.
what's on my mind? After this roller coaster, I start thinking if I'm doing the right thing, you know.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, it's not, I know I need to push it, but generally, I start asking myself if I'm generally at the right place. Before it was question of survival here, right? I mean, need
mm,
to, yeah, I came to this country in 2008 on working visa and then stuck. So it was different question. But now,
mm,
yes, after all these years of experience and such a pressure, these last 6 years at this startup and medical device startup, it just, burned me completely. And then as a thank you, we were laid off. Basically, yeah, I mean, it's business, I understand.
mhm.
But
And
I kind of, yeah, from one hand, I know it's not forever, right? We need to somehow slowly wrap it up and maybe start thinking about retirement or some, to take it more easier, find a better work-life balance to me.
mhm.
And overall, yes, if this, software development in this regulated industries, it's really tough. It's like whatever Quinton told, you feel like uh, I have feeling if maybe I'm in the wrong spot, in the wrong shoes.
Mm,
So, yeah, that kind of start,
yeah,
circling background. And maybe, yeah, maybe I can find some answers. I know, yeah, you need to, sometimes you need to speak it out loud and then
yeah,
it settles down in your brain. That
yeah.
would be my pretty much expectations from this,
So,
if I will be able to make it. Uh,
yeah,
but
yeah. Uh, yeah, Boris, what impressed me, Boris and I chatted for the first time, I don't know, a month or two ago, something like that. And um like your deep expertise and skill set, but also your deep passion for delivering that skill set for good in the world. And that's something that I just love to see in people and work with people with that intention to say, yeah, like I can do a whole lot of different things. Engineers can go so many different ways, right, with their skill sets and stuff. And that's one of the things I think is cool about working with engineers. And like, it's not just about getting getting a job for the sake of it, but like, how can I utilize my skills for things that I care about, to do good, to serve the world, and something that I was really impressed by that intention that you had. And yeah, there's some of that. There's always a question like, can I make it when we're out of a job and stuff, all those questions and the fear and everything that comes from that. But when we can go from that deeper place, that's why, Quentin talked about, some of that kind of centering and mindset stuff, that beyond just like, yeah, can you get a job? I think most people probably can, right? And I do help people with that. But my favorite thing is to help people think beyond just getting a job, to really create that intentional alignment with where they really want to go and how that integrates with the other pieces of their life that they deeply care about. And so I do that a lot with my coaching and my group work. And the retreat is a completely different mode of experience that allows us to do that in a group setting and go deeper, because we are just immersed together in that space and the container that we hold collectively, that allows that to be even more impactful in my experience. That's why I've started curating these experiences. So, because they were so impactful for me to have similar experiences, and I wanted to share that with others. So that's the idea. But thanks for being here. Any other final questions tonight for me, for Quentin, or anything else? Happy to. I wanted to keep this pretty short and sweet, and to the point, but hold this space for any of you. So if there's any other questions, happy to answer them tonight.
I think you're
Okay.
doing
Thumbs
great
up.
job, Jeff. I really appreciate your
Sure.
efforts in this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jeff.
absolutely. Quentin, any final words from you?
Yeah, if it's okay if I have you guys is for like another 30, 60 seconds here. Fly on the wall here. I hear a common theme across several of you about the questioning your alignment. And the retreat is one experience. It's more of a team experience, if you will. If you go through Jeff's program, it's more of an individual experience where you're the one doing your homework. Yes, you still have a network, but I know money is like everyone's problem, right? No one, people are out of work. Money is a tight thing. I'm telling you from experience, I took Jeff's program when I was out of work and money was questionable. But in the end, for me, for my case, it was well worth it. It was money well spent. Um, I'm still talking with Jeff, now. I'm just trying to convey that I can see you guys, I can see the problem and I can see the solution as well. And I see some of that solution in his course because he didn't mention it here because this is a retreat talk, but there's AI tools out there. You can mock interviews. You have the whole alumni team you can tap for questions, right? You have people in similar fields. I don't know. I don't want to get too in. It's Jeff's show here, but it was hard for me to not jump in and say we have answers for those things.
Yeah. Thanks, Quentin. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks all of you for being here. Hope to work with you, talk with you some more, whether one-on-one or through either a retreat or other experiences. Again, there's just a lot of, I see nothing but opportunity and possibility in each of you, and that's it's part of my purpose, is to help unlock that for people, and I would love to help all of you. So thanks for being here, and hope to chat again soon. So again, sign up. Feel free to schedule a call with me if you want to talk one-on-one, and we'll talk to you that stuff. Take care. Have a great night.
Thank
And
you.
Merry Christmas.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Nice
You
to
as
meet
well.
you all.
Bye.
Cheers.